Now that we know all about table joins, let's see how we can actually use them. A table join uses two SQL clauses, a variant of the join clause, as well as the accompanying on clause. The format is select field names, keeping in mind that you need to use fully qualified names, from table 1, the join variant. Here I'm using an inner join. I'll talk about the different types of joins, but for now let's stick with inner join. So you have select field names from table 1 inner join, table 2 on, and then the conditions that the table are being joined on. We're using fully qualified names, and if you want, you can throw in some aliases. Let's go through an example. Okay, our enigmatic boss reappears and tells us he or she now wants a list of taxable income transactions for each employee, as well as the state that they're based in. Now, I know the taxable income transactions and the employee codes are available in the employee transaction file, but there's no state. I also know that the employee codes and the states are available in Attache's master file extension table, but not the transactions. Essentially, this means we need to select the employee code and taxable income transactions from the employee transaction table, and the associated states from the ODBC employee master file extension table. Or we can rewrite it to make creating that table join easier for us. This can also be translated to select the employees taxable income transactions and states from a table made up of the employee transaction file and the ODBC employee master file extension table. Join together using the employee code as the common field. Makes sense, right? The transactions can be related to an employee code. The states can also be related to an employee code. So why don't we use the employee code as the join condition? So in SQL we have select ODBC employeex dot employee code, and I'm going to give it an alias employee. We also want ODBC underscore employeex dot state, and we'll call it state. Last but not least, we need the transaction, so etrn underscore file dot et line total taxable, and we'll call that one taxable. So all of that looks like a lot, but keep in mind it's just the select clause using fully qualified names and aliases, so don't let it scare you off. We're selecting these three fields from ODBC underscore employeex, inner join, and again I'm using inner. This part and all the other types of joins will be explained soon. So we have ODBC employeex inner join etrn underscore file. So this is our from clause with a join, and of course with a join we need a condition for the two tables to be joined on. We already agreed the employee code was the common field between them, so on ODBC underscore employeex dot employee code equals etrn file dot etempno. That's it for our SQL, so let's clean it up and have a look. As you can see, we have the transactions, the people they belong to, and the state from which they originate. This is what the boss asked for, so we're done here. Before we move on, let's quickly recap the example that we just went through. The boss wanted a list of taxable income transactions for each employee and the state in which they all came from. We decided that it wasn't possible to get all of the information in one shot because the information lived in different locations. We could get the employee codes and transactions from the employee transaction table and the states from Attache's employee master file extension table. Translating that once again, to make it a bit easier to create the table join, we have select the employee names, taxable income and states from a table made up of the employee transaction file and the ADBC employee master file extension table, joined together using the employee code as the common field. And this is it in SQL here at the bottom. Although it looks like a bit of a beast, it's really just a select statement using fully qualified names and aliases, as well as a from clause with a table join.